Welcome everybody to another episode of Cooking with Chef Spidey. Please make sure you subscribe and you like to our channel. Hit the notification bell and turn it on so that you can see all the new daily videos. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's going to be a how-to video on how to fabricate a whole chicken. So we have some parts here that we've broken things down. Now I know that you can take the leg and the thigh and you can also fabricate those down a little bit longer. But what the purposes are for what this is, we just want to make sure that people understand the main components of a chicken and ultimately how simple it is to go out and buy a whole chicken and maybe save some money by learning how to break these pieces down yourselves. So let's get right into it today. I'm going to thank Dominic for recording. He's going to be in a kind of a difficult angle. So let's thank him ahead of time. Thank you very much. And let's get going on this. Okay, now when working with this chicken, we have equal pieces. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the chicken down here. We're just going to remove a little bit of this excess fat. Okay, this little bit on the edges here we can just remove. All right, so that's easier to work with. It's always nice to get that extra pieces out of the way. Okay, the first thing I like to do is kind of massage those hips there. All right, and then we're going to come through, just cut that skin so that we can see what we're working with. All right, on the other side, do the same thing. Cut that open. See what we're working with. All right, you got these two nice pieces of thigh. As you're cutting back through, give yourself a little bit of room. You notice that there's a little bit of extra skin there. Just kind of come through and cut that open. All right. Then you have these hip bones here. And what you'll be able to do is when you pull them, boom, you'll be able to see the bones come through on both sides. So there's one on one side. Boom, there's one on the other side. All right. Then we'll come through, cut this open a little bit. Okay. There's your thighs. Beautiful.
What's in the middle of that?
This is the spine bone.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
it looks weird.
That's the whole carcass there.
The whole carcass?
Okay. Now, sometimes it's better to just from there turn this around, and you're going to see these two little areas here called the oysters. These are like little parts of muscle. All right. Really, what you're going to want to do is you want to go just a little bit lower than that. Okay, and that's how you pop those bones out from the inside. You see how all the joints work right there? Okay?
Is that the part of the spinal bone sticking out top right there?
Yep, so that's going from here. This is actually your back spine that goes all the way down.
Oh.
All right?
Chicken on the inside's gross when it's raw.
Okay, it is.
But when it's cooked, it's really good.
Sure is. Okay, so now you can take both of these thighs. You can start cutting into the inside and start scraping, and it'll get you that piece that you're looking for. The important part to this is that you don't really want to lose a lot of the skin, because when you're cooking the skin, you're going to want to make sure that there's enough on there so that when you do cook, the skin starts to shrink. So with that, we're going to try and find where that opening spot is, right? That's where that hip came out of place. All right, just kind of cut down from there. All right, and you're going to take your knife and hold it with your finger over that, like an extension of your finger, and you're just going to kind of come and scrape through. There we go. See, that's where the cartilage and the ball and socket there, right? The knuckle almost. Okay, just come through, scrape both sides. Just remember to keep scraping until you hit that skin. Alright, there's the one thigh, and the leg.
It's a big thigh.
Yeah, this is a big chicken. It's a lot bigger than
The average chicken.
Yeah, the chickens that you kind of practice with, but these are good pieces of chicken. Okay, so same thing. You're on this side now. Find that knuckle, right? Come through. just kind of scrape through with your knife. Ultimately, you're just trying to make sure that you get the most amount of meat out of your product so that you're not wasting. Okay. There you go.
It's another big thing.
All right. Yeah. Great piece of skin on that. So when we do go to pan fry or cook, you know, you got all that skin on there to make it look real nice.
If you have different seasonings, wouldn't the skin turn a different color when it's cooked?
Oh, sure, if you use different seasonings, yeah. Okay, now the next part is pretty simple. These are the chicken wings themselves, okay? You got this wing here, you got the flat, and you got the drum. Now, when you go to start cutting these, best thing to do is find that one spot there where the drum and the flat come together, okay? And you start seeing where they pop out. All right, boom, that's where they pop out. You just want to get your knife in there, cut in that cartilage. There's that great flat chicken wing there. Same thing on the other side. These are, just have the knife come right through, break that first set of skin. Okay. Pop it through.
I heard that one.
All right, you heard it?
Yeah.
Good. That's the end of the flat. And again, if you can't really find it, just keep moving it around and you'll find that spot where they go. And they disconnect from each other at the joint. Through, cut it down. There we go. We got our two flats. Then, this is what's called, so you have two breasts that run right along the middle here, right? Those great chicken breasts. Down the middle, you have what's called a keel bone, okay? Now, there's two ways that you can do this. You can come through the middle here, and you can poke through and try and find that wishbone, okay? And then you can take your finger and try and pull the wishbone out. But for easier purposes, and I guess non-culinary purposes, what we'll do is we're just gonna take our two fingers here, we're gonna cut open the skin, okay? So that we know what we're working with. Take that skin, cut it through. It's real light, all the way down. Okay, so that here's this is the keel bone right here. Okay, so we'll take with our knife, again using our fingers like this, just kind of start scratching it a little bit so that we can find out where our keel bone is. Now, when you do these, one side's going to be easier than the other because everything's intact. It's very easy to just cut one side off, but you'll see that once you get to the other side, if we decide that we're going to do the right side first, my right side here, your left, if we do that, then it's going to be more difficult to get the second one. But I'll give you some tips on the way here how to do this. So again, we got that keel bone and we're just running our knife down the middle of it, right? We're trying to just find a comfortable spot to start working with. And while you're doing this, use your finger, kind of just push it away. It pushes the piece of meat away from the actual bone itself while you're cutting, okay? And then you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna hear your knife kind of scraping, okay? There we go. Almost to the point now where it's gonna hit the rib cage in the back there. And you're gonna have to start coming back through the other side. See now, again, here's where this wishbone kind of comes into play. Because with that keel bone, the wishbone's going to end up being kind of a pain in the butt. So you can kind of just come through and see when you start cutting this, there's the wishbone right there, right here in this piece here. Then you can get your thumb in there, okay, and you can actually pull that piece out. That's the top of the wishbone, okay, and then the bones are actually there's one bone here on this side, and then the other bone's going to be here on this side. So just kind of open it up, start working their way down through there, and it should start peeling back a little bit.
Why is it called the wishbone?
Because people take two sides of the bone, and once it gets dried, and usually wait 2 or 3 days, you can pull it, and whoever gets the bigger piece gets a wish granted to them. I guess it's kind of a superstitious kind of thing.
A myth?
Yeah, mythbuster. So as I'm scraping here, you're seeing that I'm just following that carcass, that bone line, right? So that you're gonna just get as much of that product as you can off of the bone.
I can hear the bone.
Yeah. This is not a clean project at all, but it can save you a lot of money because chicken ends up being kind of expensive, and buying a whole chicken unfabricated and learning how to do something like this can save you a lot of money, because ultimately you're paying money in the store for them to do this for you. So if you have a little bit of education on how to do this, it can save you a lot of money in the end.
Would you say you get more chicken from this then?
I don't necessarily know if you get more chicken, because I'm sure that butchers who do this for a living are very good at it and very efficient. But at the same time, it's also something fun to do, and it's educational. So it's always important to kind of educate yourself on what you're doing. This is, like I said, this is a really big chicken. What you see here kind of dangling right here, this is the tender. This is the chicken tenderloin. Right, that's that piece of chicken that everybody loves.
The best part?
Well, it's probably the most tender part of the chicken. So there's your chicken tender, and then this is the whole breast.
Is that what they make chicken tenders out of?
Sure, not the ones that you're used to eating though. Originally probably, yeah. All right, so this is coming over around the bone, and we're almost detached all the way. And again, just keep scraping, keep working with that all the way around, and you'll get to the point where it will just come right off. Just a little bit more there, right? Okay. And so now we have what's called a statler almost. We have the breast and that part of the leg. To make this a French style or a statler type of breast, we're going to take about halfway up and we're going to just cut that meat. We're going to kind of twist around. Sometimes if you have to move it, it's okay too. Just come all the way up and around. Right? And then you should, once you've come all the way around it, you should be able to take this. All right? And sometimes just take the back end of your knife and start scraping upwards. All right? Start scraping up.
Look at that bone.
Yep, you should just be able to pull that right off. There we go. And that is a beautiful statler breast. And then we just got to trim it up a little bit. So we see that we got a little bit extra skin here, right? Trim that up. A little bit of the skin on the edge there. Again, you don't want to cut off too much of that, because during the cooking process, that skin is going to start getting tighter and you won't have as much to be able to cover it. And the skin keeps that moisture in. So there's your one breast. We're just going to put that off to the side for now. We're going to do the other side. And again, this other side is going to be a little bit more difficult, and the reason that it is because you don't have that universal weight of left to right. So again, find that keel bone, all right, just wherever you're comfortable with it, find the keel bone, or you can start in the middle and then kind of come back up to the keel bone. So you can feel the keel bones right there. So you can take the knife, kind of do like a little bit of a cut in and down, give yourself like a little bit of a space here to work with, and you can see where that keel bone is. Then you can kind of just come and scrape, right? Scraping down, scraping. And then you're just kind of holding that in position. Coming down through, just keeping that knife running along the keel all the way down. And as you get more comfortable with it, you gotta do a little bit of peeling. Use your hands, use your fingers, right? Cut a little bit. There we go. Okay, see there's that tenderloin again. That tender comes right off. And in bigger pieces of chicken, it'll be easier to find the tender. The smaller the chicken, sometimes they're not as easy to find. But you can keep that attached until the end. And just keep cutting. Following that carcass line, the bones, right? Following that all the way through. Scraping and pulling. Once you get good at this, it's a little bit quicker and a little bit less educational, but every chicken really is the same. So once you've done this once or twice, you can really just kind of zip through it. There's that other part of the wishbone that I was talking about. It's right here. This bone right here is the other part. Okay? I'm going to come down through almost all the way down. All right. Again, just keep scraping. Keep scraping. All right, we are almost there. Makes a lot of funky noises, but it's an animal. You kind of have to accept that a little bit, right? And there's that piece, that knuckle from the leg, or from the wing itself. Okay, we come down, we cut that, and then boom. So this is our carcass. Never said I was perfect at it, but I'm pretty impressed by it. Most of the meat itself was taken off of the carcass. Missed a little piece there, but that's okay. But there's the back spine. There's really not much meat underneath that. It's really just a little bit of subcutaneous fat and skin. So there's the carcass there. Then, again, we turn this, we can either cut this tenderloin out, right? Cut that tender out. Great, beautiful piece of tender. Then you can see the leg, or the wing, you know, that drum that everybody likes. Are you a drum guy or a flat guy?
I like the drums.
Okay, I'm a flat guy. I think that things can work out pretty well. Cool. I appreciate that. I always appreciate somebody else in the house liking the drums over the flats, because I prefer the flats. All right, so this one looks pretty good. Maybe just a little bit extra skin here, but I don't want to get rid of too much of that skin, again, because when you're cooking it, when it shrinks up, it just looks kind of silly. So you really want to keep as much skin as you can on that. And then for this one, again, we'll show you the airline breast, or the Statler breast, and that's really just Frenching a bone. And so we go from the top of the knuckle to the bottom, somewhere right around the middle here. Okay, let's get that knife in there, get it down to the bone. All right, and just start twisting. And bring your product, move your piece of meat all the way around. All right, getting that nice even cut all the way through. And once you've got it all the way through, oh, missed a spot there. So you got it all the way through, take the other side of your knife, all right, and just kind of scrape upwards. Scrape, scrape, until it's gotten up to the knuckle. And you should just be able to take that whole piece, like I did in the first one, just pull it right off. Sometimes if it gives you a hard time, just use the knife afterwards and kind of clean it up a little bit more, okay? Really, this is kind of like that fancy style of Frenching, making things look pretty. We'll clean that up a little bit, and we'll come back and I'll show you all the different parts and how to organize the chicken once it's been completely fabricated. Okay, now that we've learned all the parts of the chicken and how to fabricate them, we could probably talk for a half an hour about all the different types of cooking methods, the seasonings, the different things you can do with chicken. Chicken is such a wonderful piece of meat. There are so many different things to do with it. But right now, the reason why I'm doing this is to educate those who might have a little bit of uncomfortability with taking a whole piece of chicken and breaking it down. It's important that you know that when you spend $6 on a chicken this size, you can save yourself a lot of money. So I'm here to do this so that people who are at home, people who are stuck not knowing what to do and where they can cut corners and save money, well, learning how to fabricate a chicken with a good knife is really all you need to save yourself probably a couple dollars every meal. So once again, from Chef Spidey, thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification buttons, and we'll see you next time.